The new figures show Canada is averaging 4,700 cases daily. First wave peak. If nothing changes, public health projects over 20,000 new cases daily by December. Year-end projections show.
All right. We're almost ready to go. Last one here. If you come into the voice channel, make sure you have your mic muted. Yeah, we're going to be starting. Don't look at that 3 minutes, 33 seconds thing and think it's accurate. A, there's a 20-second delay. B, it's also stand by.
half in the bag. These jerks can't fix the VCR right.
Sorry about that. Video around. Anyway, about ready to go in about 3 minutes here. Hopefully my microphone's coming through. Yeah, sound off in the chat there if my mic is actually coming through here. All right. Well, I guess without any further ado, I've waiting long enough. Okay, oh, guys. Maggie. Okay. You probably won't notice the delay in interact. A neighborhood. We want to welcome everybody into this new year. Thank all. It's been a weird week, even sadder one. I want to do that. I want to celebrate. I think is a great person. Or the. I want you to know if you guys at any point want to jump. Fired up, so anybody that's in there will on the anything that takes place there it take place on the air. I'm in with your mics muted. Don't worry, I'll mute you. Hear you. You have to give the popping out the come in and you're new and you've joined us. Have to Lisa C was just yeah, I'm very unprepared. A lot of things. Podcast. A while. I'm out of practice, and my gear is also at a new gear since been an interesting year. The world was going into shambles. And they're kind of very difficult. Remember, Jeff. I want to address elephant in the room, however, and a lot of people out there they're having difficulty, or to jump on the conspiracy train and think, if so, well, so be it. But it is true. Definitely looks like we're gonna have to. Breaking up. Just give me a second, guys. How's that looking? Is it sounding okay now? I think. Wait, had be my check. Screw it. I just got rid of the noise gate. It should be better now. I'll even jack up the volume a bit. Let me know if it's still breaking up, guys. It could be a number of things, but I think it was just the noise gate. All right. Well, we'll just have to see how it progresses from here, guys. And I do appreciate your patience as well. Man, oh man, oh man. I want to also thank all the people out there who's already gone and done this and had their tributes within their circles. I guess it's no secret. I mean, for some people, Jeff was a difficult man to like, but he was always an easy person to respect and to appreciate. Because man, if somebody never gave up, it was that guy. He had probably the hardest head in the game. But let's see how things are improving here. I'm just gonna check the chat again. If I can fucking find it again. There it is. I'm gonna pin that to the top of my page here. All right, good. So it's sounding better, eh? Since I took the noise gate off. Noise gate 2021. That's funny. All right, fantastic. I've got a USB mixing board now that I kind of use, but different programs want to take control of it. So the order that I load programs in makes a big difference. Nice, fantastic. So we got here a werewolf. Sure, that's a werewolf, not a swearwolf. But so as I said, guys, there is a 20-second delay, so I'll be responding to things delayed, like as opposed to real time. I kind of did that, hoping that if there's any buffering or any encoding as I stream out to restream, that 20 seconds might smooth out the final result. So yeah, we'll see how well that works and see what happens when people join us in the voice or in the text chat is fine. If you're more inclined to go to Twitch, I'm also streaming to Twitch, I hope. Let's see if we're here. Yeah, there might be a lot of nervous laughter tonight. Yep, I'm streaming out to Twitch. Do I have audio there? Yep, I do. Good. Now, I do have the monitor channels connected to this stream also, so that way we can play back shit from YouTube and what have you. So yeah, so that's kind of why those mics have to be muted in Discord, because I'll get those notifications. But yeah, ladies and germs and gentlemen, well, here's the JeffC. Man, I mean, it's really hard to believe because, out of all the people that's hard to keep down, I mean, nothing but this could really stop him. But even then, even in death, he's not been stopped because we're still talking about him. And I think he'll be talked about for many years to come, to be honest. Maybe even set an example. I words can't describe how odd it is, because I thought he would outlive me for sure. I'm not even joking. It wasn't that long ago. It was only in the last 2 years that we lost Janelle, and rest her soul as well, because I mean, she didn't even get to see 30, and I was too crushed to even speak about it, But I mean, these are difficult times, and I guess it goes to show you, though. I mean, things can change in an instant, in an absolute moment. It can just change, and you don't know where you're going to be from 1 minute to the next. I mean, hell, you guys don't know where I'm going to be 1 minute to the next. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. What are you guys saying here in the chat? Jeff was a truth monster. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I mean, you didn't even have to agree with the guy. Like 9 times out of 10, he shot from the hip, with the uncertainty, but tried to figure things out. And I've seen him, I've seen him basically correct errors. I've seen him go through like what most would consider embarrassing circumstances and just come out swinging. And you got to respect somebody like that. Because, he always had every one of you in mind. And, yeah. Jetto Scranda wants to ask, who is June? Yeah, Janelle was a friend of ours. She was very sweet, very cool. She went through a hard time and didn't make it out. So, but that's another depressing story for another day. I don't even know if I really want to talk about that at all. But let's see who we got. Got a lot of old faces sitting around. Hey, there's Robot Broken, Salty Saves. How you doing? Jeddles Grand, Conspiracy Occult Illuminati. I think I know who that is. How you doing, brother? It's weird, but I think at the end of the day, like I said, how things can change. It goes in a lot of directions and under a lot of principles, and one of which is that people do evolve on a daily basis based on what they experience and how they carry themselves. And you know, people make mistakes and people do things. And you know, I think what we can take from this is that life is kind of too short to worry about petty bullshit. So anybody that I've had bad blood with, man, you're more than welcome. You can hash it out privately or whatever. But I come in peace, just so everyone knows. I've seen a lot of weird shit in the last few years, and I've been quiet about most of it for good reason. But that aside, yeah, you get a little less smug when you start seeing things. But I digress. Who's got any good news? Anybody? Wake and bake. Well, you know, I got into this because people like JeffC he was one of the people that inspired me to get involved in the first place. Between himself and Press Reset Earth, which you know, would have been great if he could join us. Maybe he's out there somewhere and he's listening in. If so, peace out, brother. Fear Porn Propaganda. Me and him have been talking lately, so he might be able to join us. FYGP, we've been keeping in touch. He might be joining us as well. But I'll keep it alive for a while. I don't want this to be terribly long. It's going to be one of those kind of shooting from the hip kind of shows, which is what I was most well known for. But yeah, man. Yeah, save the silly humans. I have a feeling it might be making a comeback. But, well, you know, CMB just said JeffC brought loads of people together. And Wonderland Wonder said Jeff had the skills to keep it entertaining. Yeah, Jeff was great. He never ran out of shit to say. There was never a moment of dead air with him. Like when he was in the room, never a moment of dead air. And yeah, you know, was it Rebel Radio? What the hell was the name of that radio show? The whole whack of them were on there. I keep wanting to mix it up with Free Radio Revolution, but that was Jeff's damn name. But anyway, that radio show was I think my first exposure, I guess you could say, on the air, because I was stuck in Regina, and I remember I didn't have any minutes left on my phone, so I ended up calling in. I called into the radio show though after buying some time. I bought about 10. I don't know. It seemed like I only had like 10 minutes of time on the phone, and I had to call long distance to connect, and I had to wait for a bit, and then I had to wait again, and I had about 4 minutes of talk time, I think, on the air, and then my phone ran out like 30 seconds like later. No, it wasn't We'll Do It Live. It was, I'm trying to remember the goddamn name. It was, yes. Jetto Scranda, you got it. Max Resistance. That's who it was. That's right. Yeah, it was Max Resistance. And that, of course, that led, that was probably only a few months away from when I actually started doing the podcast thing. And these guys, they welcomed me with open arms. I mean, it was before the shit sphere that we call YouTube turned into a free for all, and it became bloody. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah, I remember North of the 49th. I do believe that came a little later. That was probably just after or during the time that I started, I believe. But I do remember calling in, and it was like I was nervous as hell. I didn't know what I was going to say. I had an idea what I was going to say, but it all went out the window the second it went live. I was like, shit. The hell did I want to say? Like, I had so much, and it was just like I had a mouthful of marbles. You know, I was like just kind of over the moon that I got through. And It was kind of funny, but yeah, wow, that would be putting us into that would be like the Christmas and New Year's 2014 going into 2015, I believe. Was it 2014? Or yeah, it was. I think it was. Yeah. And then, I mean, then the train just went downhill on the tracks and just picked up speed and momentum and just clackety clack, and just went nuts. That's when everything started blowing up. And I'm proud to have been a part of it. It was my first time, and you guys were not gentle. Oh man, wow. How am I streaming? You guys getting a good quality stream here or what? But yeah, it was 2014. Yeah. I think one of the yeah, actually, that was actually before the little fallout that he had with Red Pill Revolution, which he's out there somewhere, and I heard that he's been paying a lot of homage and respects to Jeff as well. And good on you, brother. Thank you to everybody who said stuff. Me and Jeff, we weren't terribly close, but we were allies. We were good friends. Like at a point, like our talks were very frequent. But I kind of drifted off into my own world and just kind of didn't do much publicly. And I don't know, man. It was just trying to find balance between getting, work that I wanted to do, that I felt good doing, and paying the rent. And, hard to swim upstream when your rent's late. You know what I mean? Sorry, yeah, exactly what I meant to say. Hard to swim upstream when your rent's late. You got to do what you got to do sometimes. But uh-oh. Is my volume too low? I can change that. Because I got it jacked up pretty good. I'm clipping into the yellow with the microphone, so I could put it up a little bit more. The gain here. Check. Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I think I was one of the first few people to see how long YouTube would go for, and we found out it would go exactly what was it? 7 hours 59 seconds, and every once in a blue moon it would show 8 hours. And we kept that going. Yeah, we went on a relay. We did a fuck Google campaign or Scroogle campaign, and yeah, we just had people. We just passed the torch. Every 8 hours it went to somebody else, and we just kept the live podcast running, basically, with the exception that they were separate streams. Yeah, it was that was an interesting time. Playing with the system. And then everything really went to hell. I mean, we went to war with some people and pretty much against the wrong people, but we just focused our energies in the wrong direction, obviously. And, the rest is history there. Don't want to dig up any crap because, a lot of it I feel bad for too because, well, shit, I didn't know. But no one really does, and that's the thing. For a little bit of clarity, there was a lot of news at the time coming down from across the pond saying that British intelligence was hiring people to do, to destabilize, groups and social networking groups and what have you. And a lot of us were really quick to just start anybody who came out of the woodwork with anything negative to say, you're a shill. It was like the shill wars. And I think most of us were wrong. But again, you know, it was it's hard enough to stay sane when you know the answers, let alone if you don't know the answers. So I guess that's pretty much the answer to that. But yeah, we tried to break Google a few times, did we? But I do appreciate the kind words. We yeah, yeah, I wanted to try and have a quality show, and I don't know, it became very complicated, and then my co-host turned out to be a flat earther. Sorry, buddy, I don't mean to throw you under the bus. He's posting stuff on my Facebook, one of my Facebook pages all the time. Anyway, um, oh my God, does that make me a monster? That now that I can't remember his handle. Anyway, I don't have anything bad to say about the guy. I mean, we all believe in silly things sometimes, but I digress. Yeah, wow. Can't believe, man. Like, yeah, I think the world just got a little bit bigger because he occupied a lot of space. That guy, that personality. I mean, for a guy who kept his name pretty secret and his identity, I mean, everybody knew who he was. No, I don't want to embarrass the guy, so I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna say his name. He's my old co-host, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Those who know. I don't want to attract any attention to him. It's not the purpose of this. In fact, I don't even want to tell you guys what I'm working on right now because I don't want to attract attention to that and use this as a plug for that. But I will be making some announcements very soon. I've been trying to launch something for about 5 years, and every time I get close, it somehow gets ripped away from me, and there I am, close again. So it's coming, but maybe at the end, maybe I'll make a small announcement. But I don't want to use this as a shameless plug, even though I just did. Huh. Yeah, but yeah. Well, Jeff guarded his privacy, and I think most of the reason was because he really, as much as he cherished his friends, he also cherished his family. Now, many might ask about his family right now, and as far as updates are concerned, I don't really know. I was just talking to somebody who says that they're a local and know him personally, and apparently, apparently his mom and dad are both passed on. I didn't ask, but I know that Jeff spoke of having a sister, and I can only assume that that she's out there somewhere. I don't know if she pays any attention to any of this stuff, so I want to, I want to treat this with, with respect and the whole bit. I mean, nobody should release his real name, even if they know it. You know, like it's just just respecting his wishes. Well, I spoke to a local that Dusty Blue just asked, how did Jeff die? Uh, Aneurysm or an embolism is suspect. He was talking about having a migraine and headache that was really bothering him for a few days, and well, I guess it was that day or the next day where he didn't make any daily appearances, like talking to his usual crowd, and then 5 days later he didn't show up for one of his own shows, and apparently the YouTuber who goes by the name of really Graceful, she heard she basically knew him personally, and sent someone over to check up on him to see if he was okay, and that's when he was found dead, apparently. Now, the person I was speaking to says that they know him, that they live in Montreal where he lived, and that the coroner, as well as the funeral home where his parents were also taken care of, were scheduling a cremation for his body. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't take that as 100% confirmation. But then again, like I said, I'm respecting his wishes for privacy, so I'm not digging too deep. And yeah, it's just it's kind of insane. Yeah, Patricia Gaylord says a few hours later between the last video he did and the next scheduled show. Yeah. Jeff was telling us about his mom. Yeah, see, this is the thing. Is like, I don't know if there's a mom or a dad now. Like, he's spoken about his mom before, and I don't know if she's passed on recently or in the last year or two. The last 2 years just alone have just like gone by so fast. I don't even know what the hell happened. So I'm not sure. I never really caught up with him in the last, at least the last year. We haven't had any words. So it's been a bit. Hey, Mom, Linda Bresky. Hello, Robert. Happy New Year. Much sadness over the loss of JeffC. Yeah, it is. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. Well, you know, it's one of those, I mean, people go. I mean, I don't mean to say it so nonchalantly. It's just that, like, if anything, it's one of those things that are constant in my life is people are constantly leaving it. So, I don't know. I can't say that I get used to it, but I guess you get a hardened shell after a while. Vidi says his real name is Jeff Censored. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't even censor him in death because here we are. We're talking about him now. So, if anything, there's a whole another generation of YouTubers that can follow in his footsteps now. So, now that the final act to the show is starting to happen, we're going to need more of that. We're going to need more balls. Robert Paulson. Was that the guy he was... That's the guy who somebody made a video saying that they figured out who he was. Wasn't that from like about 3 years or 4 years ago? Or I vaguely remember that. Well, Lisa, I met Jeff in the weirdest way. It was on the radio show initially, but he didn't remember who I was. But I was doing other videos. My very first few videos, actually, I was putting up on YouTube. And stop, chat. I'm trying to concentrate here. You're making me laugh. But yeah, no, it was a bunch of videos that I had made. It was regarding the Ukraine and the neo-Nazi proxy government that was installed there in the Ukraine. And I was kind of big on that for a little while. And then it tied into a bunch of stuff like MH17 and a few other crossovers into other news that came out. And it was pretty bizarre how it was all kind of connected. Anyway, I don't know. I started the podcast and he started joining in. We had a lot of people from that circle. And I think one of the podcasts that was probably the most famous and lasted the duration was the showdown between Red Pill Revolution and JeffC, the pair of them squaring off, and it got crazy. Like, it was nuts. Well, yeah, I remember the salad party and Tim Osmond. I know you're out there, Tim. Still angry at you, Tim. You shouldn't have called my old landlady. She's an 83-year-old woman. And she's still alive, believe it or not, after all these years. But I was long gone. I moved out of there when you did that video. And they were no relation to me at all. But I digress. Water under a bridge, man. You left me alone after that. Thank you. But oh, right. Right. Paul Ralston was Robert Paulson. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was Chubby Tits or whatever his name was in Fight Club. Right. Sorry, distracted by chat again. Yeah, that was over the TransAsia airplane crash. And I mean, it was one of those things where, you know, people are arguing about two sides of the same coin, and it was one of the first great examples of how the infighting can be very, very non-specific, but arguing over the details, you know, was not the thing to focus on, I guess you could say. But I mean, it was one of those things. I mean, everybody was trying to crack, you know, the case, and everyone's trying to figure it out. You know, in retrospect, I don't know. I think we all played a part in showing different sides of it and different aspects to consider. And you know, in retrospect, you know, I think we learned more important lessons though out of that, to be honest with you. Yeah. Well, that does happen. That does happen. It is a rabbit hole. And I mean, you know, I don't have any you know, what do you say? I don't have any one go-to argument for anything anymore. There's no the angles that one can approach it from are just as numerous as the angles that somebody can achieve, you know, an event, like, or achieve a goal. Like, I mean, it you know, that's why things are so easy to obfuscate. And then you can create like these entry points in conversation to get in and then turn people against each other. And that was happening all across the board to a lot of people, to a lot of us, like people who started off being friends and kind of led down this this path where things just, I don't know, it became like you're fighting for your point. And I think that was just kind of like an amateur way to go around it, to be honest. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you have to deal with. I mean, even like, look at me. I was trigger happy on YouTube and the comments there and everything else. And I would react and, oh, I'm not going to take that shit and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Sometimes you got to take a little shit, you know? It's a lot harder to shut up than you know. Well, JeffC knew that. But, yeah. Well, you know, as we all know, the terms that we hate, like we hate the terms, you know, tinfoil hat wearer and conspiracy theorists and what have you. But in a large way, many of us fell down that rabbit hole and became exactly the exact thing that we were trying to investigate. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't for lack of trying, or it wasn't anyone's fault. It's just, you know, you're only good at what you're good at, you know. And I don't mean that in any way in disrespect at all. I just say that you only get good at something the more you do it, and the more ways that you approach it. And well, going back to JeffC again, I mean, I don't even know the answer to this, but there'd be some good trivia to find out exactly how many channels he started up on YouTube. I would like to know if anyone has kept track or kept tabs of all the channels he's kept over the years. It would be interesting because, like he was like the fucking Hydra, you know, that Hercules fought. I swear to God, every time they took down one of his channels, 7 more would grow in this fucking place. Like, it was nuts. He was tenacious as fuck. You couldn't beat the guy. Yeah. I mean, I've heard him almost reduced to tears, and he's had the room just in stitches, you know, like, and everywhere in between. And there's one thing, man, you can't say he wasn't entertaining. And, you know, I think he's probably pissed everybody off at one point. In like, he'll say something that you don't like. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what group you align yourself to, or what you believe in, or anything. He's probably pissed you off at one point. But you can't take that. You can't take that as a bad thing, because, you know, it means that his form of personal marketing and his way of getting out there and getting into your ears, you know, to grind your gears, works. I mean, he proved it, you know. He's definitely somebody you can draw inspiration from for a lot of reasons. Like, I didn't agree with him on a few things here and there, and, you know, even his approach sometimes, it'd be like, wow, I can't believe he just said that. But, you know, that he could, it would be JeffC. I mean, it wouldn't be JeffC if he didn't do certain things his way. And then he's also full of surprises as well, because I've seen him, you know, reflect on things and completely change his narrative and look at things with a new perspective. And that takes even more balls than it does to do what he does in the first place. And I also want to say something else to everybody else in what we used to call the community, which really, we learned was an ill-gotten term, to be fair. But everybody out there still trying to wake up their neighbors and friends and their families and others. Keep going, man. Don't stop. Do it your way, you know. Yeah, Jeff would have a guest on his shows and talk so much that the guests wouldn't even be given time to talk. Yeah, unless I got on there, though. I tried my best to get my talking points in there. I don't know. I don't have any room on my desk to punt to whack my fist down. But okay, I'll get you one before I have to clear a spot. I'm very, very cleverly showing this camera angle, because any other camera angle, I look like I'm a fucking hoarder. I swear to God, I got to clean this place up. So I'm just showing a very narrow, very, very narrow area here, and that's it. I should have engaged a green screen so you'd think I was on the beach or something. But I love your name, Gofa. Gofa, cure self. Great name. No, you're right. There was a real community for a year or two. And, you know, we we were slow. We were slow on the uptake when things started to happen because we were too quick to shut people out when they didn't, I don't know, convey the same thing that we felt we were conveying. When, in essence, we were both doing the exact same thing, and the real group that was COINTELPRO was doing their magic and turning the rest of us against each other. And again, like I said, the more you do something, the better you are at it. And they're in there, don't know who they were, but they just have to plant the seeds, But yeah, and the only reason nothing remains from Max Resistance shows, because like they were good shows to listen to at the time, but their relevance now doesn't seem as important. I mean, his shows were scheduled; they were radio shows. They followed that format. And, I always tried to break away from that format myself. JeffC definitely wasn't about that kind of format. He emulated something similar, but it was his take on it. And it was basically him speak, you listened. And he just always had so much to say, And, a lot of the time he'd be asking you to just think about what was being said. And he'd find different ways to ask that question. He'd find different ways to make that request. And, he just kept with it. Yes, I do believe that was that was Max Malone's channel. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Salty Saves. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Robert worked like a fucking charm too. Sure did. Well, I mean, it was going like at light speed. Like, I mean, all it took was 30 seconds to say something that, you might feel stupid for saying later. And I know I said a few of those things. But at the end of the day, do I take it back? Well, the bits that might have offended people, sure. To a degree, but I mean, did make me wrong for saying it. The reason for saying it, what I said and who I said it to might have been in error, but, I said it for the right reasons. It doesn't help. I mean, the road to hell can be paved with good intention, right? But it's, who gets hurt in the end that matters, really. So, but that's the closest thing you're going to get to an apology from me. What else we got here? Yeah, Jeff was pretty articulate. Very much so. Very much so. I'm pushing 46, and I've smoked a lot of weed. So I say a lot. I don't know if you've noticed. But yeah. I have a tendency, but I mean, senility actually is it runs in my family. My grandmother, she was senile by probably by 40, but I'm just joking. No, the whole thing was a setup for a bad joke. Anyway, I guess the point. Chi Girl says, I haven't been able to bring myself to watch Jeff's videos. I'll get there, though. Well, I haven't been able to bring myself to watch a lot of shows, like a lot of people's content as of recently, like in the last couple of years. And I used to watch everybody's shows about everything. But I guess when you know a certain amount, that's incontrovertible. You don't need to see anymore unless you're going to report on it. And I've not been in the headspace to do this kind of work for a while. I'm slowly gearing up to get back into it. Hence the announcement I'm going to make later. Not in this podcast, I probably will make a video dedicated to it, so just look out for it later. But yeah, I've been I lost steam. I lost steam after all the stuff I did in Mexico, and let's just say I learned a few more valuable lessons regarding our medical industry and laws and other things and how things are done in other countries. It's humbling, let's just say that, and it's also a bit oppressive, because when you realize how big it really is and how much it is that you have to break through, I mean, you would understand Jeff's quandary with this whole situation. I mean, it's hard work. It's hard work, and it's emotional work. It's oh man, I couldn't do what he did. I couldn't do what he did as consistently. You know, I was all about production value. I was all about a lot of different things, and trying to get the good guests, trying to have the good topics, trying to engage people. You know, and yet I wouldn't. You know, even though I did, what was it, 23 weeks, 16 hours a weekend. What was it, 2 8-hour shows, 16 weeks for rapid fire free for all, and 23 weeks of Save the Silly Humans. It came to a halt, and every time I tried to come back, it would last a few weeks, and I would just lose steam, or my life situation changed so much. I'm living here, I'm living there, and then I was living out of 4 suitcases for almost 2 years. I was nuts, and it's just been so bizarre. Doing bong hits, and I'm looking around what happened to my lighter, and it's right there in my hand. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Yeah. Casey Kraken makes a good point. He must have a ton of stuff backed up on his hard drives. I wonder, because you could only imagine, based on how much content he actually puts out, you can just imagine what he doesn't put out. I mean, I've got enough footage to do 4 episodes of my tech show that I started working on about 4 months ago. And I still haven't brought myself to edit that material and turn them into episodes yet. It's just I've been so busy with my recent changes in life here. I agree with that, Jetto. Jetto says we spent so many hours of our life with him. No matter, we miss him like that. Yeah. Well, you know, I remember for I think it was the majority of season. I think it was season 7. I want to say it was season 7, but for the majority of season 7, I was living in Mexico, and I'd be on his weekly show, and we'd be talking about The Walking Dead, and that was a great. I really enjoyed that time. Not talking about the bullshit, not talking about the world. It was a good escape, because he always brought a perspective that related to how this applies to real life, and I always brought the perspective how it doesn't apply to real life, and it was a lot of fun trying to strike that balance with the guy, and it was a lot of fun. I was a guy who liked to hate The Walking Dead as it got shittier and shittier. Oh, he was easy to get annoyed with sometimes. I mean, there were times where like he was so hard-headed that if he disagreed with you, he would let you know it. And like I said, if it was on his show, he would run the show like a pro and just talk over you. Like salty saves. But I digress. I'm just poking fun. No, like I said, I spoke to someone who claims to be, a fellow Mon is asking about an obituary. I looked up obituaries for young men in Montreal around that time, and I scanned about 4 or 5 different listings and different funeral homes, and I don't know the name to look for, and I wouldn't ask for it. I know it sounds silly, but I wouldn't even ask for his real name to look it up because it's not my business to know, and I want to respect his wishes. But if anybody does have confirmation that they've seen an obituary, let me know. Let me know privately. But this isn't the place to do it, please. Wow. I'd fall asleep listening to him. I knew I needed to go to sleep, but I was too interested to turn it off. I feel sorry for you falling asleep while listening to him because that voice would just get into your head while you're sleeping. It's very George Orwell. But you know what? He'd have it no other way, though. I mean, audience retention was one of the things. Like, if he was low on retention scores, I mean, he'd put out 3 more videos that day. I'll show you lack of retention. But he was, he was an interesting man, that's for sure. Wow. I'm just staggered. I'm just absolutely blown away by the whole thing because he was, like I said, I always pictured him as being someone who would definitely outlive me. Like, I'm not saying I'm like, I'm not yet, not for a while, but I have no plans to either. So never mind that. But yeah. I'm just a little less careful, you know what I mean? That's probably the most politically correct way I can put it. I'm way less careful. Cheers. Yeah. Just poured one out for him. Wow. Well, hello, Canada. Yeah, I'm in Canada as well. For those who aren't aware, I'm in British Columbia, and it's cold here in Kelowna. But wow, I can't believe it. Or I don't know if that came through the mic, but there, I pounded on the desk. I tried my best to insulate the mic from the desk so you can't hear that shit, so I don't know if anyone heard that or not. What I got to do is crank the bass up on the microphone, take down the treble. All right, CMB. All right, thanks for coming and stopping in, and appreciate it. Much love. Good. There you go. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah. Like I said, I've got this thing. No, I got the thing suspended, so like you're not supposed to really be able to hear it. So I'll put the microphone right on the desk and then smack it. So the frame rate good, like on the video. Let's see where anybody is here. Like I said, if anybody wants to join up in the Discord voice chat, you can click that link there, and I can invite people into the channel. And just an update there as well. If you come in, I just need I need to give you some roles, and then I can pull you in. I'm gonna post the whatchamacalls it's link there to invite someone here. Just give me a sec. There's a remembering JeffC. Is it the same one? Am I just copying the same link again? Nope, there it is. I know it works because Lisa C was in here for a moment, and then she left the voice room there, but it's yeah. I'm sure you guys can understand that this is not like this wasn't easy to do. I mean, I kind of half shit the bed and half ran into problems yesterday, and then I went to go live today, and then suddenly realized that Restream.io had to get reset up, and then OBS, all of my scenes were all fucked up because camera changed ports and shit, and then everything else changed their settings, so I had to re-import all of the I/O, like microphone, camera, all that stuff, all my windows. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy setting up, and I haven't been in the headspace to do it, so it wasn't clickety-click Barbara trick. No, it was more like, holy fuck, I'm screwed. Rosie Raleigh. All right. Let's see here. Duchess of Dallas. Wow, a lot of people are coming in. And I might have to add you as friends too, so I'm doing that. By the way, just so everybody knows and is aware, I fucking hate Discord. It's like anti-easy. It's the furthest thing from a simple chat. All right. All right. So here, let's see. Can I just invite people based on? Let's see here. No. Ah, there's fear, porn, propaganda. Hey, thanks there, Steve. It's Gematria Database, otherwise known as Fear Porn Propaganda. And I want to send a shout out. KJ invited me to his show yesterday, and I was gonna come in. I got caught up with the thing they call sleep because I was awake for almost 2 days. Yeah, it was a long stretch, and I just want to say thanks for the invite, KJ. You guys are more than welcome to come join us all here if you're up to it. Oh, you've got roles. Just giving people roles. Yeah. Server. Now let's just see if it lets me add people in here. Or do I just drag people and drop them in? No? I don't fucking know. Venomous. Invite to that. See, that's so bizarre. Okay, so he's joined that. Am I in? Rosie Raleigh, you're not. You've got to go and join the Remembering JeffC voice channel. It's under my Truth Hurts podcast. If you're, let me see where you might be. I have general. What the fuck is wrong with shit today? I got so many fucking channels here on Discord, and I don't know how to manage them. But there's a Truth Hurt podcast, and down below says Remembering JeffC. I can see Rosie Raleigh's typing on Discord. X22 report. Trying to add you to yeah. Actually, one time, I remember one time he woke me up. I passed out a few a few beers past my prime, and I remember waking up. What the hell was that? And it was him smashing the desk, going on about something. Oh, Rosie Raleigh's in the voice chat. How you doing? You got sound, Rosie? You got sound and video? Oh. All right. Well, now you might be getting an echo because I'll be coming through Discord and on YouTube now. So if you just came to listen, you're probably in the wrong place. Yeah, I don't know why you joined. If you're not going to talk, then you don't need to be in the voice channel because it's fine just to listen to me on YouTube or on Twitch. It's your call. You can do it any way you like. But yeah, if you guys want to join, if you want to say something, you want to, I am recording this as well as I'm recording it locally, and it's also being recorded by YouTube, as you know, and it will probably be on my Twitch for at least a while. We say no hypodermic needle for me, or that's turkey baster. No turkey basters? What do you have against turkey? No, I think he's referring to no vaccine for me. I'm assuming. Yeah, we're gonna leave that talk out of this for now. I believe that was the last topic that Jeff was on about, though, just before this all happened. It's yeah. I didn't want to come in here today to talk about any specific thing. It's no, nah. Jeff is too honest to be controlled opposition, in my opinion. But I mean, people are going to say stuff and think things. I feel like I've known him a bit over the years. Like I didn't know him that well at first, but there was a period of time where we talked to each other very, very often, either planning, upcoming shows, or the after show conversations were great. And we kept in touch over the years as well when I was traveling. It was an interesting time though. And like I said, I want to also thank Press Reset Earth. Between himself and JeffC, I mean, I had two of the warmest friends in the whole genre, really. Not to take away from anybody else, but I just knew them, and they were very, very kind and welcomed me in. And if it weren't for them, not enough people would even give a fuck about me to make this matter or even relevant. But at least, I didn't want to compete with KJ yesterday either, which is another reason why I decided to opt to work on fixing my sound gear last night and today rather than put on a maybe show and and then take away from KJ's time. I didn't want to wear you guys out, so I let him do his show in good faith, and I figured I'd say my pieces tonight along with the rest of you as well. Yeah. Jeff would be the kind of person that would work for them to expose them. Like, he was that dedicated. I believe that firmly. Like, I could see him going undercover, like in another parallel universe. I could see that happening. Like, I could see him accepting it. I'm sorry. I could see him accepting a job like that. But I don't think for a minute that he was controlled opposition. Because he made mistakes just like the rest of us. And controlled opposition, I don't think would make those kinds of organic mistakes. They don't make mistakes when they're dividing people. So I don't think so. There's a voice box in the lower left corner. Just click it off. Oh, he's talking to Rosie. my eyesight. Thought it said Rob. But like I said, anybody wants to. He was like a brother, I knew me and him were a similar age. Like, he grew up around the same time period. I think he was a little bit younger than me. I'm not sure by how much. But we were definitely around the same age, within a few years at least. And I gathered that by the things he talked about and how they related to what I remember. Like when we both spoke of the military when the military was at a certain particular state in like the 1990s. And we kind of, what was that? Oh, nothing. Anyway, we kind of had a bit of camaraderie there. Like we had something that we had in common there because he was also in the military. And I mean, being in Montreal, being in the in the capital, well, not the capital, but near the capital, really, I think it kind of lit a fire under his ass because he was so close to the wolf's den, that it was constantly going back to how things used to be, but how that was a precursor to where we are today. And look at this country now. I mean, I just finished saying I don't want to talk about certain things, but I mean, look at the state of affairs, and I'm talking about Canada. I mean, like, I'd rather have, what's his nuts' father in office. I'd rather have Pierre Trudeau in that fucking chair than that friggin' little scrawny cunt that we call whatever his name is. But I digress. I mean, You know, the worst thing about this whole genre and, you know, hobby, personal responsibility, this whole task that we give ourselves, the worst thing about it is being right. Because usually we're predicting some pretty horrible shit. And when you've been doing it for as long as you have, or as long as we have, it really hits home and it hurts a lot more when you are right. It's one of those things that you wish, like, to God that you were just wrong about. And, you know, I'm so glad that he's not one of the types to say, ha ha ha, I told you so, you stupid fucking monkeys, blah blah blah. You know, we've been trying to tell you for years, and now look at it. You done right and fucked it up. You know, if he has said something along those lines, I didn't hear it, but like I said, I didn't follow anyone's content for, you know, like on a daily basis. So maybe something slipped by that I'm not unaware of. But I mean, even I couldn't, you know, resist saying I told you so on Facebook. Mind you, I fucking hate Facebook and some of the people on it, and Twitter as well. But it was just, I don't know. Like, he took pride in the things that he said. Like, as he grew as a independent journalist, he started taking the things that he said and how it reflected a little more cautiously as the years went on. Like, he only got better and better as he went. You know, and Turdo. A lot of kids join the military unknowingly. Well, yeah, never trust someone with a tinkle in their screen name. Yeah. A lot of kids join the military unknowingly. Yeah, or they grow, you know what? Or a lot of kids will join the military not knowing what they're joining. Look, I mean, I had a military grandfather. My father was in reserves. And then further back you go, everybody for generations was ex-military, all the way from England to Germany and, you know, and beyond. Like, and it's in my blood. And when I joined because it was a go-to thing. I knew that I'd get acceptance from my father, who I was very, very much not getting along with when I was 17. And I had to pay rent because I had moved out on my own within the last year and a half of that time period. I had so much to go. I had so much to do and go through that I walked into that kind of structure knowing what they would do, because I knew it was about breaking you down and building you up, and I kind of needed that. But I'd already been broken down by life, and I built myself back up. So I did it with a cautious mind, and I took all the stuff they taught me, but I wasn't marching around the fucking parade square. If I stayed, I would have been a career corporal for the rest of my life. But no, I eventually, mid 1990s, when I really started to see the correlation between what they were telling me behind closed doors and what the media is telling you guys through the TV, I was like, this shit don't jive. The two things don't match up, you know? And then it was just a weird disconnect, because as soon as I started telling people, we didn't have internet yet, by the way, boys and girls. Yeah, we didn't have the internet yet. We still used dial-up modems to contact bulletin board systems and shit like that. And I'll never forget it. I saw this correlation between what they had done with the AIDS virus, which kind of ties into what we're going through now in a weird way, in terms of a certain je ne sais quoi, should I say. But the realization that everything's a joke was also reinforced by my sudden acceptance into Mohawk College for radio broadcasting. And I quit before the end of the first semester because I learned that we get our news from the Associated Press, and that's where we get our news from. And we repackage it and we redistribute it on the fucking air. And I'm like, I put two and two together. It was like, I saw the military, I saw radio, and I'm like, that's what's happening. It was not easy. I mean, not easy. It was not difficult to put the numbers together and go, holy shit. Yeah, there's a definite relationship that I'm lousy at picking fucking jobs. I pick the ones that lie to everybody, you know. Yeah, I call Mohawk College, I call it Slow Hawk Cottage, you know. It's funny, they kept that shithole open, but they shut down the Hamilton Psychiatric Ward just up the street from it. I mean, I think the sign-up rate went up by about 70% too that next following year. Probably all the insane people went there. Yeah, I kind of missed dial-up. Made it more fun to actually download something, like made it more valuable. Go to bed downloading on BearShare, wake up to data prizes. Yeah, at 33,600 baud, and you're getting a 300 by 400 pixel GIF. That was worth the wait. But I could, you know what? I could mute myself on Discord because nobody's actually in the voice channel on Discord. But I see nobody here. I just want to double check that I have. I should have the permissions set right, but who knows? I fucking hate Discord. It's too complicated for what it does. I like that it can be complicated, so you can do some complicated shit. But let's say you don't. I don't know. Look at all these goddamn permissions and shit. Permissions not synced with category. Truth Hurts podcast. I don't know. I think it's there. My first experience with the internet, I still say this a little bit of pride, even though it doesn't matter and it's completely it's completely non-relevant. But at the time, I was running a bulletin board system that had a Fido Opus email network, and it spanned across from Niagara Falls all the way through I want to say Guelph, Guelph, Smithville, Stony Creek, Hamilton, up to Oakville, Burlington, Toronto, and pretty much ended somewhere in Toronto until one day we learned how to piggyback onto the interweb and send our Fido Opus email packets overseas, where it would get hatched and then launched into a new node list. So I actually made it over to Europe with my what was it called? It was called Mega Budnet, and yeah, it got pretty large, and then it just ended like as quickly as it began. About 2.5 years later, it just ended. Yeah, I remember AOL. Anybody remember ICQ? Yeah, see, yeah, because Fido, it was called not Fido, the phone company, but FidoNet was actually, it was a email network group that started off very early on in the business. In fact, they were one of the pioneers for the Fido Opus systems, and it made its way into the open source community, and then we started utilizing it, and that's how we beat long distance. Hey, You lived in Toronto. I lived in Hamilton. Normally it'd be a long distance telephone call, but I would relay email packets out to Burlington, from Burlington to Oakville, Oakville to Toronto, and we got rid of all the long distance costs. We also set up tick file bases and FIDO message bases. And we had basically our own functional mini internet, really, to be fair. And all it used was analog phone lines. So going back to the other comment regarding falling asleep downloading 300 by 400 pixel GIF, it was great for messages, and it worked as good as real time. It was great. Yeah, going back down memory lane. But we're going back a little too far. Would have been interesting to see what Jeff was doing at that age and time period of history. Yeah. I used to use smoke signals. Yeah, you're probably too busy outside making smoke signals to answer the telephone because they're calling you. Stop using smoke signals. We've got a phone now. Actually, it's funny because since this whole mess with the the unmentionable virus, yeah, it's kind of I just got distracted. I just got reading here. Yeah, sorry. I got distracted there. I just forgot what I was just going to say. See, my mind's racing a little bit, though. You have to give me a little bit of, I guess you could say, lateral, room to wiggle here. 2 cups with a string. Hey, man. Don't knock it till you try it. It works. I used to work at a place where I had it was an industrial place. I had an office, had to look down. It was just a little privately owned little factory where we were making a premix for cattle feed. And I'll never forget. I'm shouting down. I tried calling my buddy, but he's too busy on a process machinery, and he wouldn't hear his phone. And he had his phone, I don't know, 6 feet away from him, and he couldn't hear it. He couldn't hear it vibrate or ring. And so anyway, he sees me come out, and I throw a cup at him, and he dodges it, thinking I'm throwing a cup at him, but it's on a string. He goes, "What the fuck is this?" And I point to my ear. I say, "Put it up there." He puts it up to his ear. I screamed into it. I said, "Answer your fucking phone!" And yeah, he heard. He heard it. It does work. Uh-oh. Is that how do the board communicate? Yeah, you got to remember too. I'm talking about like he's on a platform putting like big 2-ton sacks of stuff into a hopper in a machine, and there's like catwalks between where I'm standing and where he is. So I literally just threw a cup at him. It was a Tim Hortons cup. Yes, Tim Hortons. We're Canadian. But anyway, yeah. I tossed the thing at him. He thought I threw a coffee at him, so he ducks, but it was just on a string. And anyway, it landed harmlessly by him until I broke his eardrum. Okay, we'll humor this. How do the board communicate? Tinkle Think wants to say. And 20 seconds later, we'll get the answer because of the delay. Yeah, wow. I'm still stunned, guys, and I don't know. It's like I'm having trouble like actually accepting it. It's not that I'm having trouble accepting it. It's just like I can't believe it's really true. You know. And yeah, I know. Save it. Some people out there. I had a talk with one of his friends, like on Twitter, and that conversation didn't go well. I was told to cut the bullshit. I invited him. I'm not going to say his name, but I invited him onto the show, and he told me to cut the bullshit. He said there's no proof. Because there's no proof unless I have proof. I'm just going to assume that the government's got his shit again, and he's laying low like he did before. I don't know. If he is, then no, I don't know. That's neither here nor there, though, because whatever the case is, in either direction, we're still remembering good times. So that's what we're here to do tonight. That's all. So how many do we got in here? Sorry for the dead air, guys. I'm just having a read, and I'm looking at about three. I got 3 screens going, and I got everything from Twitch to Discord. Oh, we got some more people here. Add friend. Add friend. I'm not sure if I have to add the friend and give you roles to come into the voice. So if you try to come in and you're not getting in, we were talking about that, and then I got sidetracked in my story there when I was talking about the internet and what have you. Yeah, somebody who knows him personally in Montreal said that they had checked on that he was checked on, and they found him dead, and they're saying it's either an aneurysm or an embolism or something maybe. I don't even have actual confirmation of anything, just this man's word. However, to bring names like Really Graceful into it, who's very well known, I'm leaning towards accepting the fact that it is probably true. I mean, Jeff even missed his own show, which is very, very unlike Jeff. I mean, let's be real. We would have heard from him by now. Somebody would have heard from him by now. Even if he was hiding out, somebody would know. Somebody would have contacted at least somebody who knows me. Yeah. So I'm adding as a friend, and I'm giving you the herdologist role. That should let you into the Truth Hurts podcast on the server. I'm gonna post it here again. Just gonna, where is it? I'm not spamming my link because I'm lonely. I'm just trying to, if anybody has anything they want to say and they want to say it live, then by all means, I just want to make sure that everybody has, has a way to say it if they haven't had the opportunity so far. So. This is not how I wanted to add friends to my Discord. I will tell you that right now. It looks like got a lot of hertologists here. So it looks like, do I have to give you guys anything else? No, I don't think so. I'm just figuring out how to add you guys to that specific. See, it says invite to server, but it doesn't have invite to the channel. So I guess you guys have to kind of go there yourself. What's that you got there, Robot Broken? Is that something I can play, or is there would that get copyright strike? If there's any videos that you want me to put up or anything like that, go ahead. Let me know. I have no problem playing stuff. I might take a break to have a smoke here. Anyway, see, I got this option here to invite. What do we got here? No. Don't smoke. Ooh, don't smoke them backwards either. No, you know, yeah, go fuck yourself. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I just stopped using it for the longest time because simple management's a pain in the ass. And if you think for a second that any of these people with like large channels are managing their own Discord server, they're not. They're getting chat bots, other people, and or just good old fashioned irresponsibility. Like, you know, one of those three things are being implemented for sure. It's fucking insane. It's so convoluted. It's just disgusting. I hate Discord. I just keep it on my phone. So that way when somebody is trying to get a hold of me with an important message, I can easily scan through those, and it's not fighting for control over all of my fucking computer hardware and everything else that's in it. And it was even crashing my system at one point. It would work perfectly until somebody sent me a message. It would go ding. That ding would crash the machine. I don't know why, because it was accessing the sound subsystem and it didn't like my audio mixing board that goes into the USB. I don't know. By the time I was problem solving it, it fixed itself. So I have no idea what the fuck that was. But I'm gonna repost the link in the text chat, in the general chat there. See if clicking on that gets you into join voice. So yeah, if you're on the Discord, you should see a link there to join voice. I don't know. I'm assuming that if you click it, you join the voice. That's all I got. Yeah. Well, you know, just by calling your name, I could be attacking somebody. I mean, we've come a long way. Like, if anybody thinks for a second that I would have got away with my whole first season of Save the Silly Humans, wow. I mean, I wouldn't do it any different anyway. You guys know me. Like, I don't give a fuck. But, I mean, who would get away with that? Nobody. I mean, I was on mushrooms for, I think, was it the second one? Was it the second or the fourth show? I can't remember. It was the second or the fourth one. Anyway, I remember we had Thor. We had Thor on the show. Salty Saves would remember that one, and so would So with Crystal Blankenheim. I hope she's out there. I don't see her in chat. I've been looking out for Crystal, but she's yeah, she was there, and I didn't let on that I was on mushrooms right away, but I drifted a few times. I drifted into the rumble strip a few times, and then you guys, I have to thank my my friends that were on with me to kind of guide me back in between the lines. That was a fun time of being on the mushrooms there. I'll never forget that. Well, 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 the user known as the user formerly known as Alpha King Kailu, kill you. Oh, kill you. Right. I've been calling myself Lord Sausage Fingers for a while now. So, yeah. Oh, don't you yep me with four P's or salty saves. I remember a podcast that you hijacked, drunk as a skunk, and it was funny as hell. That was great. It was all you all the time. But I digress. Your mom remembers that one too, don't you, Linda? Ah, Sofa King. God damn it! I wish I thought of that one. But you know, that takes us back to that time, that time period. Like I said, I mean, I only had that show because of Jeff and a few people like Jeff that welcomed me to it. Like, I mean, it was easy to get scared away. I mean, if I rolled in with anybody else, and I'm certain of this, if I rolled in with anybody else, I don't know if I even would have been taken seriously. You know, like I'm still not even taken seriously, even after everything else. I mean, but it is what it is. You know, I am who I am. I can't take it back. Sound like Popeye there. I am what I am. I knew she remembered. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I know that was. Hey, it was a good time. It was a fun time, and it was a scary time because we knew then that this would happen now, and here it is, happening in real time, in front of your face. Everything that people said was impossible, that wasn't being done, well, we've seen come full circle to its, well, now we're in the, I guess you could say if this were a movie, we're at the beginning of the third act right now. So this is where they just unleashed the major conflict. We got a bit of inciting action, and, well, see what happens at the climax, folks. Yeah. And I remember people talking about when they released the papers. They released papers called Agenda 2030, and it's like, well, why are they doing that? Well, because 2021 must be wrapped up. And it was right around the time where people were making comments about the Georgia Guidestones and connecting a few dots there with the airport in what's it's called there. Oh, for crying out loud! Remember, folks, names, places, things, and people and stuff. I'm horrible with. You guys know where I'm talking about. But Denver. Is it Denver? Yeah, the Denver airport. Yeah. It was Montreal. Speak Life Garden Homestead and Permaculture. Well, yeah. Robot Broken. You're right. With JeffC retiring, we'll all just have to we'll have to work harder. We'll have to work harder to like watch each other's backs. We have to work harder now to make sure that, you know, this doesn't happen again. I mean, look, I know he valued his privacy, but if he, you know, was close personal friends with Really Graceful, and, you know, he trusted her, then she did the right thing. I mean, albeit a few days too late, but guys, ladies, gentlemen, we need that. We need to have that kind of a connection, at least with somebody, because, you know, something happens, and at least you could send out a message. I mean, I don't know what could have been done in Jeff's case. If it was a brain aneurysm, it would have been instantaneous. And aside from a splitting headache for a few seconds, I mean, it wouldn't last very long. Like, you know, I've lost a couple of people to aneurysms already, and they're. I mean, I could die from one any minute. Who knows? I don't have any information. I mean, I've got no information saying that I have, you know, a tendency for that kind of thing, but I don't have any information contrary to that either. So I mean, like, it can take people that don't even know it on one hand, and on the other hand, it's even worse if you know that you have a blood vessel that's ready to pop, and you just don't want to agitate it, or you don't want, you know what I mean? Then you're walking on eggshells, and the stress alone from walking on eggshells will stress the aneurysm. So there's so many aspects to this that, you know, we have to really take care of each other at the end of the day. And I don't know, man. Stop with the petty shit. Really, I'm so glad so many people came out that I know personally have had, you know, words, you know, behind the scenes and in the scene with Jeff, and still came out to pay respects, you know, for a guy that did some really, really great work, you know, and some, you know, questionable work, and, you know, a couple of bad pieces out there, but I mean, who doesn't? You don't, you know, you don't throw down and have a closeout show every single night when you're a comedian. You're gonna bomb a few times, you know, and you know, it does happen. Uh, um, that's a good question. Go fuck yourself. All communication tech is compromised, and then ham radios with a question mark. Ham radios aren't compromised, but there's a reason why they're regulated. I don't know about the United States. I'm pretty sure that the FCC is similar to the CRTC here, and that you do require to have a license to own a shortwave or ham radio. Now, a shortwave receiving radio is fine, but to broadcast, you do have to have. Now, of course, they package it nicely with a course, so you understand radio procedure. You know your bandwidths that you can use, you know what the emergency channels are, how to use sidebands, all that kind of shit. I used to work for Radio Shack, so back in the day, you know, I'd learned that stuff. But the fact that it's regulated tells me that it's probably not compromised, only because the attainability of the hardware is very controlled. It's about as easy to get a ham radio as it is to get a gun in Canada, and I would guess that it's harder to get a ham radio than it is to get a weapon in the United States. But that's information I'm not completely privy on, but I would be pretty sure it's structured that way. Oh, hey, in a time of war, I don't care if it's an Apache attack helicopter. I don't care. I'm not getting a license for that shit. And brings up another good question that there are a lot of open source projects out there. If you guys know anything about coding and programming, there's a lot of open source projects out there on how to do conversions to analog to broadcast digital information over ham radio to be received and decoded and decompressed and utilized. So ham radio is actually a go-to technology in the case of an absolute collapse. Yeah, you could potentially use ham radio in a closed system and still get the word out and operate a fragmented version of the internet, basically. Facebook Messenger is one of those apps that is so fucking flawed. First off, it's closed. It's closed source, so you don't have any say in what goes into the code, and you don't know what it's doing. It just asks for permissions to access basically virtually everything in your goddamn phone, for one, and also makes use of short links. Short links are bad. People don't use fucking short links. Always use the links from the source, because short links are not a link, not just a link to the material that is being shared. It's a link to a database entry that it's a key. It's basically a link that goes to a database using a key that pulls out information that was stored there. And one of those pieces of information is the link to where you want the person to go. However, also in there is absolutely every single piece of session information, including your geography, time, your cookies, your cookie counts. Everything that's going on is also accessible via that short link. So that causes two problems. Marketing and tracking is one. If you don't like that sort of thing, of course. And then the second thing is the fact that somebody who knows how to manipulate that data can literally add information into that database and then go back to it and call it up, dox you, share it, or worse, impregnate it with a link so the person that receives the link you sent will get a virus or a Trojan horse. And then suddenly that person is emailing everybody on their messenger list and getting one of those chain letters and passing it on because they think they're going to get a free fucking $100 at the Walmart. And they pass it on to all their friends thinking they're going to get this free Walmart shit. No. Now you just made everyone's goddamn fucking day worse because you just impregnated their machine with a virus. I mean, but people prey upon the ignorant, and that's just true as that's been going on as long as we've had gingers. So in an absolute collapse, the last thing I would use are smoke signals, because if they can track a rabbit from 30,000 feet in the air with with thermal imaging, I don't think I want to be lighting fires on the anywhere, unless I have a good cave system. And yes, they can track a heat signature the size of a rabbit 30,000 feet, if you didn't know. You know what? Stay off the Elon Musk thing. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a fanboy. I like Elon. I'll summarize my opinion in a very, very simple statement. I'll go into detail later at another time. But Elon is far too weird to have an evil agenda. I think he's a little bit on the spectrum, if you know what I'm saying. And in my opinion, he's too weird to be evil. I've seen his face when he's speaking, and he shuts down because of all the voices in his head telling him what he's thinking about next. And you can see those gears turn. finding the words to say. Like, it's almost like a translator working, because he speaks one language and he's got to dumb it down so you understand what the fuck he's talking about. And there's that delay, and it's not, he's not a well-trained speaker. Some would argue, now that I've said that, they would argue, oh, he's just trying to cover up what his true agenda is. I don't believe that for a second. I really think he just wants to go to Mars. And every single bit of technology he's creating is either going to be used there, or get us there, or get us back from there. I think he truly is one of those unique people that actually is on our side. I think he's not going to say it, because then he'd be a target. Of course, he's going to all the popular kids parties, but is he one of them? I don't think so. Not in my opinion. Not for a day. Nope. Are you kidding me? But he only provided the vehicle to get those satellites up there. No, that's not true at all. In fact, he's one of the lead designers of the actual satellites, and he's also the programmer that's doing a lot of the coordination systems, and all of the telemetry, and all of the automation, not automation. What do you call it? Like automated flying and automated networking between units was already created. That was already created by Tesla, so that the self-driving cars can all talk to each other and compare information and send them to a server for information processing, and that's leading to smarter cars. I mean, not to be confused with smart cars, which are the size of a shoebox, and you could blow off the highway with a can of compressed air, but I digress. Yep. I'm not gonna defend Elon all night, but I will say this about the brain chips. I know. On our way towards a singularity, this guy's promoting these brain chips. Look, he said it best. He's like, look, the whole AI thing is gonna get bad, and if we don't give ourselves a leg up, it's gonna get worse. I like his logic there. I can't say I completely disagree. Like, I can't say I completely disagree. Do I like it? No. But I mean, if we have to go to that place, I don't want to have a computer that's smarter than me. Let's just face it. I'm getting an aneurysm thinking about it. No, that's not in good taste. I'm sorry. No, that wasn't funny. But yeah, I just can't say certain things, I guess. But I mean, come on, guys. Yeah. Oh, VD, but we're all actors, aren't we now? In a way. Elon got extremely lucky too. Don't think all of this was. If he didn't get that contract, with NASA, he spent all his money. Like, actually spent it. Not like Trump, who declared bankruptcy while having all of his like $1 billion estate and blue chip savings in foreign currency. But no, more like he just spent all of his money on building rockets and stainless steel cars. I mean, that shit. He's building stainless steel spaceships. I mean, now he's got it locked in. I mean, the Falcon launches. Of course, he's going to be doing some shady shit. I mean, I know they're launching satellites with the U.S. defense and everybody else. That's part of the game, I guess. If you're gonna do stuff like that, like, I don't know how many of you guys have like rocket companies, but I can imagine that if you're trying to get a leg up in that industry, you're going to have to do stuff. And, I mean, yeah. Like I said, I don't think he has, even if he's a bit naive, like, I'm sure there's a grain of that as well. Like, but I don't think he is. I think he knows exactly who's who and what's what more than we do. And he's just playing. I think he's playing the game. It's like, the only game we're playing is catch up. So let's be real with ourselves. The only game that we're playing is catch up. Because, look, the more I see people walking around wearing masks, breathing in their own bacteria all day, defending why they're doing it when that's not what their intention was for, and justifying it, I'm starting to realize that people are stupid. Well, I've known this for a while, but it's a tough pill to swallow, because all we're doing is playing catch up and trying to catch everyone else up. People that are in the game, they know more than we do, and some of them know enough to shut the fuck up, I think. Who wants to get themselves marked, I guess. I don't know. Kind of going way off, veering off into left field here, but yeah. Sorry, VD. That's not what you want to hear. I'm not going to defend him all night, man. I'm just saying, I just don't disagree with what he's doing. Hey, man, I'll be the first if I had the money, I'd be the first to book a flight to fucking Mars, because I don't want to be on this fucking Brock anymore. This fucking mud ball can go to hell. It's done, in my opinion. But now I'm just an observer. I want to see what happens. Hopefully, I live long enough. Uncle Think, well, I don't know if he's NWO. How do you know he's NWO? Now that I do believe. Bill Gates, on the other hand, yeah, he's pure evil. See, that we can prove, because his parents are confirmed eugenicists. Yeah, Elon's not hurting anybody right now. So till I see proof that he is, I think he's just a big kid. I think he just wants to leave the planet. I think he likes spaceships and watch too much Star Trek. That's my opinion. But anyway, we can get off of that topic. Don't want to take away from the real reason that I came out tonight to honor Jeff. This wasn't. You guys are giving me great ideas for future shows. I'll tell you that. And if I used anything that Jeff taught me as an example, maybe I should just do more shows. If you guys are interested, I'll be back. No, I don't disagree with you, VD. It's definitely a psyop. But it's like, again, who's holding the handle of the dildo, Well, I'd love to explore all of these avenues on another podcast. I would love to do that, guys. We can always come back to this topic on another day. See, that's where I think he was fucking with the media. And he does it. He does it all the time, little bits. Same with launching a fucking Tesla into orbit, or sending it to Mars rather, with a fucking spaceship. You know what that's from? I don't think anybody realizes where that idea, where that imagery is from. It's from a 1980s animated film called Heavy Metal, and some older folk might remember it. But the opening credit scene, there's a guy with a spaceship, and he drives a car off into space. And that imagery, just for him to make that that collusion, or connection. I said collusion. That connection. I was like, okay, I kind of know where his head was at. When he came up with that decision, I think it's fucking hilarious. Personally, I think it's funny. But again, we'll get off that topic for now. We'll get off the whole thing. I just find it interesting. So maybe I'll dedicate an entire show to that. I'll come up with something catchy, and then we can all discuss our theories on that guy. We can maybe counterbalance it with we'll do Bill Gates versus Elon. We will see who scores the highest points in different categories or some shit. We'll play a game. Who's holding the handle? Actually, that could be a recurring show. That's a good idea. I like that. The Starman crap. Oh, Starman. Oh, is that what they called it? I don't know. I have no idea. Starman was a good movie, though. That was a movie from 80, I want to say 86, 85, 86 with Jeff Bridges. Hey, good night, Linda. Have a great evening. Good to see you here again, and much love. Miss you. Well, there's a lot of ambiguity to things that people say. I see what you're saying. The one where he said you can tell it's real because it looks fake. I think it looks fake because it was well executed. Like landing booster rockets, man. Jesus Christ, it's awesome. It's great tech. It takes it's a lot of technical skill. I mean, whether you believe it's real or not, I mean, let's just assume for a second it is real. It's awesome. I mean, that's an awesome technology if it's real. So, but you know. So what? So Rogan's in on it too? I come from a small town called I don't give a fuck. You're making me homesick. I'm sorry, but I just don't. I can't get bent out of shape over any of it because it's just outside of my ballpark. Like, I don't care. Yeah, I'm sorry. This might not be what people want to hear from me, but I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I will keep talking about it, but it's not something that, unless you can get definitive answers like stat, you don't have any definitive answers. I don't have any definitive answers. So there's nothing that can be accomplished from it until, I mean, we can speculate it and circle jerk amongst people who are like-minded with us all day long, but it still doesn't do anything, is what I mean. Like, that's all. It's not like a who's to blame, who's an asshole or shill because they believe in this, and they're stupid because they believe in that, or fuck you because you're that. I'm not doing that. I don't do that. I'm not doing that to anybody anymore. I won't do it. Unless I got a smoking gun. I can't do it. And I love all you guys, for coming out and speaking how you feel. Don't worry. I'm not here to attack any of you either. So don't worry. I'm not. I gotta practice what I preach, and people I will attack. Yeah, my prime minister. Yeah, Rothschilds. Yeah. There's so many smoking guns across the board with all of these parties that those are the things that I can definitively say. But when it comes to certain things, there's a lot of room for interpretation, and there's a lot of things that you can wrap coincidence around and come up with, opinion-based conclusions, and that's all it is. Absolutely, go fuck yourself. That's exactly how they get enabled. The NWO gets enabled by us breaking down our forms of communication and not talking to each other. But, now they've got everybody standing 6 feet apart from each other across the planet. They couldn't do this when SARS was out because they didn't have the legislation in place. But while all the sheep were too busy watching the fucking news, like day after day after day, those stupid monkeys, they just listen. And instead of saying, no, that's retarded, I'm not going to do that, instead of disobeying, everyone's running in fear of losing their jobs. They've destroyed small business. It's gone. They've literally got rid of the small business. Unless you're working from home in a niche business or something that can fit into the structure of this new world order, guess what? We're living it now. So we lost the war, kids. We lost the war. There's a new war now. It's a war of attrition. Now it's guerrilla warfare. It's a completely different tactic. It's a completely different thing. I got my stripes, and I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it how I see it. That's all I can say. Join me, and we'll get there together, or at least we'll have good seats for the final show. Because I'm gonna be sitting front row center, and I'm gonna say take down the splash guards because I want the full effect. So. But absolutely. 33 watching, Illuminati confirmed. I was just saying absolutely. Yep, we got to support each other. And then 33 watching my VD. Yeah, look at that. That's Scroogle. Should do a little video bit called That's Scroogle. Kind of with the sweeping arm motion. Yeah, I got the camera kind of zoomed in on me so you don't see my, instead of my messy house, you're seeing my messy face, but whatever. Nice to meet you too, man. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. How long have we been going for now? What do we got here? 6 o'clock. I started a half hour late, roughly. Well, I'm going to wrap this up a little bit soon. It's too bad I didn't get any in here. But I've got you either, I've added you as a friend and either awaiting your response and I've given you roles for any shows coming up in the future if I decide to use this burning pile of shit called Discord, if I decide to use it again. But we'll see. Going back to that announcement, there'll be something available for you guys real soon to try out. That'll be going into a beta test real soon. So I will be making announcements as soon as I create some videos about it. So stand by for all of that news. I'm going to close this up in about 5-10 minutes. So if I could get you guys to say whatever you like, we'll immortalize it here. But thanks for not leaving so hasty there, VD. I do appreciate your input. I appreciate you coming out. Thanks, I'm a werewolf. Hey, thanks a lot. I do appreciate that. Well, I think we all kind of all owe it to Jeff for just being here and being together. So, I mean, he did bring people together. Even if he brought people together to hate him, at least they did that together. And, you can't deny that. You cannot deny the guy that. Like, he always brought people together. Yeah, Happy New Year. I want to tell you guys that it's going to be a great year, that things are going to get better. They're only going to get better if everybody decides to disobey. If that doesn't happen, what's going to happen is going to be worse. But we'll talk about that on another show. Thank you, guys. You guys are great, too. I do appreciate all the banter. I made a point of keeping the chat wall like in the video for any later reproductions, or if YouTube decides they're going to lose it, we'll have the conversation recorded visually so that people know what the fuck I'm jabbering on about. But we'll have a better setup too. Don't worry, we'll have a better setup. Like I said, I didn't plan for this. And I wasn't even set up to do a podcast per se, because I have everything set up for other activities involving production. So, but enough excuses for me. Sorry, guys. Next show. Let's see. We're looking at it Saturday. I'm probably going to shoot for Friday or Saturday night. I'm probably going to keep around the same time frame as the Save the Silly Humans or the Rapid Fire Free For All show went. And usually we would start at 9 o'clock Pacific time, to be specific. But I might do it Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and to be specific. And then I don't know. We'll take it from there. I will make announcements. I don't want to commit myself yet, just because anything can happen. I'm working on a lot of projects simultaneously, so depending on the state of my system, I get caught off guard easy. Yeah, I think even the rainbow unicorns are sick of rainbow unicorn land. Guys, I haven't heard them in a while. Now it's the Twitter sphere that's hating on people who like Star Wars again. Like, it's just bizarre. Yeah. Nah, you just got one of those voices that you just can't get out of your head, especially in so many different ways. I mean, we've had so many good laughs together, and we've had a few shouting matches about stuff, never at each other, but about things. Like we've had some passionate arguments. Like, I mean, that guy, like, he's definitely somebody who means what he says. Doesn't always know what he means sometimes, because, lack of information, or something's brand new and breaking, and, not enough time to process. But I mean, I've watched him pull down videos just as fast as he puts them up. And, you have to respect a guy who at least cares enough about his own content that, he's willing to do that instead of, putting out, information that is, proven to be false. But I digress. I mean, how can anyone prove so much? And, well, like I said, only with research, and somebody who did a lot of research is definitely Jeff. Like, he definitely did his homework as much as he possibly could to know as much as he could about any particular topic before he talked about it most of the time. and you got to respect the guy who does that. But well, here we are. It's January 2nd, 2021. Yeah. And binary, that would be 0110 101001. Yeah, I did that in my head. Anyway, it wasn't hard. But anyway, we'll see you next weekend at some point. But stand by for a few updates and some and I will be continuing my tech channel. It's called Tech Talk, Tech Etard, something along those lines. Tech Talk, Tech Etard. That's it. Anyway, I don't want to plug my shit right now. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'll be leaving links and shit as I work on stuff. I got no time to edit, so I gotta finish working on this other thing, and then launch that. Then launch the videos for that, and then I can start editing other stuff, and then working on my shows. It's endless, and yeah, I'm working for free again. So we'll we'll talk about that another time too. But guys, have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, and we'll see you next week at some point. JeffC, if you're out there somewhere, people love you. People learn from you, and majority all respect you too, and as do I. Bye, old friend. You're still in the airwaves somewhere. Cheers.